Norway. Woo! Let's rock and roll. And guys, we're on Facebook Live too. So rock and roll with that. And if you're out there on Facebook Live seeing this, thank you for being here. If you're a partner with us already, thank you for being here. If you are somebody just checking us out, just to check us out, thank you for being here. Appreciate you so much. I'm going to give it 30 more seconds, and we're going to rock and roll here. All right. Okay. Hey, guys, let's get started. Okay, so my name is Troy Van Dyke. I am a founding partner within Cruises, and I've been a part of this company, this business, since 18 days after it launched into 142 countries, and I'm fired up to be here. Welcome to everybody. This is our Tuesday afternoon weekly partner call where we train partners on everything from mindset to business principles to strategies for best success, best results, and stuff like that. So again, thank you for being here. Looks like we got Sweden in the house as well. That's fantastic. Glad to have you. And anybody else? Oh, Italy. Italy's in the house as well. Fantastic. Okay, guys. So I want to talk to you guys today about the art of talking. Okay, so here's the deal. What you say and how you say it matters way more than you think in business, okay? And so I'm going to share a couple of stories I have with you, but I want to bust a myth wide open. All right. How many of y'all have heard, and put it in the chat if you've heard this? You can't say enough of the wrong things to the right person. You cannot say enough of the right things to the wrong person. Have you guys heard that before? Type it in and say, put a 1 in the chat or something. Say, yep, yeah, oh yeah. We've all heard that, right? Guys, it's a myth. It's completely wrong. Of course you can. You can say the wrong thing. By the end of this training, I hope to prove this to everyone, okay? And so I wanted to start with that. So let's get started. It's not what you say, but how you say it, right? Think about it. I totally don't believe what I'm saying, but hopefully you will. I could be sitting here right now, excited as all get out, and not believe a word I'm saying. And you guys wouldn't know the difference. So what I say and how I say it truly does matter. All right? All right, moving on. So let me introduce you to what I call, not me, I'm going to share the story and tell you where I got it from. It's called a framed firelighter. Has anyone ever heard this term before? Put it in the chat if you've heard this term. Yay or nay? Have you heard of it? A framed firelighter. Nope. Abel hasn't heard of it. Anybody? Well, if Abel hasn't heard of it, nobody's heard of it, right? Anybody else? Let's see here. Nope. Okay, good. So let me start with a story, guys. And I think I've shared this with you before. And it'll all make more sense as I go through the rest of it. But I want to share a story. So this was introduced to me by my mentor, my coach, Mark Januszewski. He's considered the world's laziest networker. You guys have probably heard of him before. He's actually built 5 or 6 network marketing businesses and gone to the top with all of them. And so 6 years ago, hold on for 1 second, guys. Oh, never mind. 6 years ago, he shared this with me in a program he calls Go 90 Grow. And, and I want to share this story. You guys have heard it before from me, I believe, but it'll make sense. So I'm talking to Mark on the phone, and we're having a conversation, a coaching conversation. And he says, Troy, I want to tell you a story. And I know I've shared this with you guys before, but some of you haven't heard it, I'm sure. I want to tell you a story. I have 3 dogs, and they do 3 things really well. Do you know what they are? Now, keep in mind, Mark J. lives in Kauai, Hawaii. Okay? So, and I said, well, yeah, they eat, they sleep, and they poop. Because I've got 4 dogs of my own, Mark. Of course I understand that. And he says, okay, great. He says, here's the deal. I want to pay you $10,000 a month. And all I want you to do is come to my house 3 times a day and clean it up. Are you in? And I said, well, heck yeah, I'm in. And he said, why are you in? Why are you in? He says, if you can answer this one, then it's not only going to change your life first, but it's then going to change your business. I said, well, it's easy. There's something in my life that requires a $10,000 a month solution, right? Yeah. So you show me a solution to my problem and we can come together on this. And if that's what it takes, I'll do it. And he said to me, and here's what he said, and I'm going to be a little bit blunt. Excuse my language. I'll keep it cool. But he's not a really fluffy guy. Mark J. isn't. He's very in your face. And he said, Troy, shut the heck up about your stupid travel business. Nobody gives a blink. And I went, whoa, I wasn't expecting that. Well, my follow-up question to you, Mark, Mr. Hotshot, is how am I supposed to talk about a business if I'm not allowed to talk about it? And he said, Troy, over the next couple of months, I'm going to teach you how to stop being a salesperson. Stop being a salesman. I'm going to teach you how to collaborate with people. Okay? And about 2 months later, when I was on the phone with what I'm going to call not a cold call, but a gold call, because again, words mean things. I want you to think about the word gold versus the word cold. Cold is nothing anybody wants when it comes to a call. But gold calls, that's a different way of saying it. A little more positive, a little more upbeat, a little more, if I say the right thing and say it the right way, I can probably find some gold. Yep. And so on a gold call, exactly what he said and the collaboration piece of it, he taught me 2 months earlier and worked with me on came true. And I figured out how to collaborate with people for the rest of my life. Okay? So I share all that to now explain to you what a frame firelighter is. Let's define it first of all. A frame firelighter, it is a sales language skill. Guys, the network marketing business is a skills-based business. That's all it is. It's just a few simple skills. You don't need to know 100 skills. You need to know a few simple skills. And when you learn these skills, you can do well in network marketing. So it's a sales language skill that you can implement into every conversation you will ever have and can instantly give you credibility, and it's 100% rejection free. Listen to that. It's 100% rejection free. It is designed to light a fire in your prospect without raising the sales filter. Now let's talk about the sales filter for a minute. Guys, you just look at yourself. Look inward for a minute and go, how many times today will I get pitched on something, anything? 1,000 times. We are all bombarded with pitches. It could be as a pitch could be your wife or husband rolling over in bed and saying good morning to you and asking you something. That's a pitch. Okay? We get pitched all day long. And after a while, what happens? We're like, dear gosh, don't pitch me anymore. Give me a solution. Don't pitch me. How many of y'all feel like you get pitched all day long and you're just like, put it in the chat. Anybody tired of being pitched all day long? Well, here's the deal. How would you like to be the one who changes it up, and when they expect a pitch from you, you don't give them one, but instead you do it in another way that bypasses the sales filter altogether, bypasses the conscious sales filter, and goes straight to the subconscious directly. All right, so that's what it is. That's the definition of it. Now let me show you the components of it. 3 components of a frame firelighter. Part 1, a universal fact. Part 2, a universal fact. Part 3, a very small bit of information. All right, so what does that mean? Let's go ahead and give you some examples. This is an example at a grocery store for the business opportunity. You're in line. There's somebody in front of you, and you strike up a conversation. You go, wow, since 2020, groceries have gotten so expensive. Universal fact. It seems like it's impossible to ever get ahead of the financial curve nowadays. Universal fact. Some people have found a way to make a full-time passive income in their spare time so that the grocery bill is no longer an issue. Small bit of information. So what just happened there? How could anyone reject you on this? If they agree, they will ask you, well, what do you mean? If they ask you, what do you mean? Guess what? They're asking you to give them a presentation. Book it. Give them a presentation. Show them how that can happen. If it doesn't resonate with them, they'll simply dismiss it, and they won't reject you. There's no rejection if they just dismiss it. It was just a conversation. It was just a statement. But the point of it is this: it requires 2 universal facts. They can't say no to your universal facts, and then you just give them a small bit of information that ties back to the 2 universal facts. Rejection free. You can do this all day long in a million circumstances. Let's do another one. Example at a gas station. This is for the business opportunity again. Wow, the price of gas is so high these days. Universal fact. It's impossible to feel good about how much it takes to fill up. Universal fact. Some people have found a way to make a full-time passive income in their spare time so that they can fill any vehicle without the stress. Small bit of information. Again, how could anyone reject that? If they agree, then they're going to go, what do you mean? They're asking for a presentation. If they don't, they're going to go, that's nice, yep. No rejection. No rejection. And here's the cool part about this, is you can do this over and over and over and over again to them, and they'll never reject you, and they'll never know what it is you're doing if it's a part of your language. And if you'll notice, I use some of the same language in the first and the second example. This is not hard. It's just a matter of coming up with some examples and then implementing them into your vocabulary. Well, let's do a couple more in a different way. Let's do you're at a party. Let's talk about a travel membership. The travel industry is back and stronger than ever. Universal fact. After 2020 and 2021, everyone is looking to travel. Universal fact. Some people with an open mind have found that a travel membership is the very best way to travel smarter. Guys, this is brilliant stuff. I hope you're getting it. Okay, thank you, Abel. This is great. I'm glad you're getting it. Guys, this is not hard. It's just a matter of taking and coming up with some examples for yourself in different situations and figure out what you want to say and then injecting them into the conversation, right? All right, let's do another one. Ooh, this is a little bit of a twist. Still a very good one, though. This is how many of y'all, I know y'all have been asked, what do you do for a living, right? What do you do for a living? Well, you know how everyone wants to travel? It's a universal fact. After no travel for 2 years, the travel industry is exploding. Universal fact. Well, I show people how to travel smarter and save money on their vacation. They're going to say, well, how do you do that? Or they're going to go, that's nice. Oh, gosh. I could do this forever. All right. Now let's do something different. Let's put this into a script. Now, let me share the story behind this and the stats behind this. So, I was heading to Kauai, Hawaii with my wife, Pam, and we were going to go to a Go 90 Grow mastermind. Now, let me tell you, the mastermind was very inexpensive. It was for 5 days with Mark J. and his wife, Davine. Full mastermind with only 20 of us. The webinar, the actual conference was inexpensive compared to the opportunity I had to spend money to get there on a flight and how much it cost to stay there for 10 days. Okay? And I was struggling with this, and I wasn't sure because I'm going to be honest with you. Back then, I had to pull every credit card I had out to do this, and I didn't know if I wanted to do that. So I got on the call. Well, Pam and I got on a call with Mark J. And Mark looked at me and he says, so Troy, let's talk about this for a minute. How many hours did you work in your business last week? And I said, 20 hours. And he said, okay, let me rephrase that, Troy. How many hours last week were you on the phone or in front of a new person last week? And my wife, I love her to death. I wanted to kill her at this point, but I didn't. I'm too blessed to do that. But she goes, he loves to text people. Mark goes, exactly what I thought, Troy. Congratulations. You worked an hour in your business last week. Congratulations. You might be successful in 20 years. And he said, Troy, if you think for a doggone minute you're going to come over here to Kauai and I'm going to help you get on the phone and talk to new people, you're out of your mind. He says, that's not my job. He says, if you want a friend, go buy a stupid dog. He said, if you want a coach, then you're going to get busy for the next 120 days and you're going to do some work. And you're going to show up to Kauai and you will have done the work. And I'm going to look at the work you've done and I'm going to help you tweak it. And I'm going to show you how to do it better. I'm going to show you what to say better and what not to say here. And I'm going to look at what you did. So here's what you're going to do if you're coming here in 120 days. He says, I want your numbers and I want you to keep track of every phone call you make, every connection you connect to, every presentation that you do, every sale that you make, and every appointment that you have. And I had to make a decision right there. And I remember doing this, guys, honestly. I looked up to God and I looked over to my wife and I looked at Mark and I said, I'll be in freaking Kauai and I'll have your stupid numbers. And I got off the phone. We booked Kauai. And the next day I woke up and went, oh my gosh, what did I do? I don't have anybody to talk to. I've already reached out to everybody I know in my network. Nobody else wants what I have. Nobody. And so I went and found a place called selfserveleads.net. And I found a platform called Shaper. By the way, there's a guy named Joe Burnett on this call right now. And I found him on Shaper. He's been with me for 5 years now. And so that's exciting. Here's the deal. The next day, I bought 4,000. I spent $40, 4,001 leads from selfserveleads.net. And I made a commitment that I was going to start calling 20 people a day for the next 120 days. And I had a very simple script that Mark J gave me. And Joe says, and we cruised together twice with Pam and others. You better believe it, brother. Let's do it again soon. Anyways, I took this script and I started making calls. And I got to be honest with you guys. I took that first day. I remember like 10 minutes before, I literally sat down and got silent and did a meditation because I knew that I was going into war because I did not want to pick up that stupid phone. It was the last thing I wanted to do. But I made a commitment and I was going to do it. And so I did this meditation, prayer, and I picked up the phone just right there, picked it up and I made 20 calls. And I remember getting finished with the 20 calls. I only talked to 2 people, 2 out of 20. But I felt like I had just worked for 8 hours. I was beyond exhausted. So I was like done for the day. Put a fork in me. I remember it was 4:00. So by 4:30, I had made 20 calls, talked to 2 people. And I was like, I'm done. It's over. I can't do this. I can't do any more tonight. And then I went the next day and did the exact same thing. And it felt like 8 hours again. But something happened on day 3. On day 3, I realized that all I had to do was make 20 calls. And if I got the 20 calls done, I was done. And so I just was like, yeah, let's get on the phone as fast as possible. Let's get this done so I can go have fun. Because this ain't fun, right? And I ended up making over 120 days. I ended up making 3,000 calls. I only talked to 330 people, but I booked 263 initial appointments. And this is the script that I used. And so here's how it goes. And I'm gonna pretend like Joe and I are talking, okay? And so if I was picking up the phone talking to Joe, it goes like this. Joe picks up the phone and said, hello, or hey, I'm calling for Joe. Is this Joe? Yeah, who's this? My name is Troy Van Dyke. I'm calling from Greenville, South Carolina. Hey, Joe, the reason that I'm calling is at some point you opted in online to a form that suggested that you may be open to a home-based business opportunity. And I'm calling to see if you found the business that'll take care of you and your family, or are you still looking and somewhat open-minded? And literally, when I go, I really pause there, okay? And there's a reason for that. But moving on, he gives me the answer, yeah, I'm still looking. I'm still open-minded. What is that? And guys, I got people that said, that gave me the finger. I had people that said, not interested, take me off your list. I had that. That was okay. I had to just get through 20 calls as fast as possible, right? But that's the script. All right. So he gives me a positive answer. Sure, what you got? Hey, Joe, I can totally understand that. Can I share a bit? I'm asking permission, guys. He says, sure, go ahead. Now, here comes the frame firelighter. Joe, I'm sure you're aware of the large numbers of people that travel every year. Universal fact. Especially after 2020, the world is open again and the travel industry is exploding. Universal fact. Some people have found a way to travel for a lot less. Some are traveling for free, and some are even getting paid to travel. Small bit of information. Again, guys, let me rephrase this. Small bit of information means small bit of information. You are not selling anything here, okay? The more you talk, the less effective you are. And so, moving on. A brand new skill, and this comes in this script, but this is a brand new skill. This is called the most people skill. So, after I do the frame firelighter, give the small bit of information, I go like this. Most people, when they hear this, Joe, they get excited, a bit curious, and want more information. And then I laugh. Honestly, though, not everyone does. And I'm going to talk about that in a minute. I'm going to come back to why I'm laughing and all of that in just a minute. You may know the type. They'd much rather watch rerun reality TV, play games on their phones, or are simply too skeptical to take 10 minutes to learn about something that might be valuable to them and their family. Guys, that's 3 negatives. Okay? 3 negatives. So, Joe, all I do is connect with people, with open-minded people like yourself, to see if traveling for less, creating a passive income by sharing a travel program with others resonates with them. Does this resonate with you, Joe? May I get some information about this to you? May I? Guys, I'm going to explain the wording here in a minute because it's weird wording, but it's positive. It's all done for a reason. He gives us a positive response. Okay, I'm going to come back and dissect this in a minute. But he gives a positive response. I booked the appointment. Book them into the Monday opportunity meeting or into a meeting with your upline, or go do it yourself if you can. Wherever, book the appointment. Now, I bet once you book that appointment, you think you're done. Nope. I got a new skill for you. Here we go. It's called confirm their integrity. And I want to give you a visual of this. I don't want you to see it. I want to give you a visual of this. Confirming their integrity. Once you've booked the appointment, I want you to think about it this way. You're sitting in your car. You've got the window rolled down. Your prospect is on the curb. You've been talking to him through your window. He's booked an appointment with you. You think he's in the car with you, and you're coming to the next appointment. He's not even in the car yet. So, how do we take your chances of them showing up to about 80%? Not 100%. Not everybody's going to show up. How about 80%? Would you guys be happy if 80% of the people you booked appointments with showed up? All right. Here's how you do it. And guys, I told Mark J, he was absolutely insane that this would never work. And he looked me in the eye and said, try it and prove me wrong. And so I tried it, and he's 100% freaking right, and I can't believe it. I went back to him, I said, you're right, and I'm wrong. So confirm their integrity. This works 100% of the time. So before you get off the phone, you've just booked the appointment with them. Do this word for word. Okay, let me repeat this. We have a confirmed appointment for Tuesday at 4 o'clock. Yes? Yes, Troy, I do. Great. Is there anything that would keep you from keeping this appointment, Joe? Shut up. And then very quickly laugh and say, here's why I'm asking, Joe. Have you ever had a doctor's appointment scheduled for 2 p.m. and you're still waiting for the doctor at 3:15? 100% of the time he's going to say, oh yeah, I hate that. I said, do you hate that as much as I do, Joe? Oh gosh, that's ridiculous. Well, let me tell you, Joe, I hate that just about as much as I hate standing someone up for an appointment. So, Joe, I can guarantee you that I am going to show up for my appointment with you. If you'll simply show up, We'll have a great conversation. Fair enough? Great. See you Tuesday at 4 p.m., Joe. Have a great day. Off the phone. Done. Okay. Who liked that script? I see some people that wanted to download it. That's good. So I want to walk you back through this. I know we're only 30 minutes into this. I do want to walk you back through this. And now I want to talk about the subconscious. Remember in the beginning, we talked about getting rid of the sales filter, keeping it low, right? And not showing up like every other freaking salesperson out there pitching the pitch fest. Okay, so let's talk about the subconscious. Let me tell you why this works so well. And I'm just going to read it again, but I'm going to highlight some things. So, first of all, the beginning of it here, I'm calling. Is this so-and-so? Yes. Now, here's the thing. Notice that I'm having them say yes to me. You guys have heard me train before on ABC. Always be collecting. Always be collecting decisions. ABCD. It's not always be closing. It's always be collecting decisions. And when you say, hey, I'm calling for Joe. Is this Joe? Yes. You just collected a decision. He said, move forward. My name is Troy from Greenville, South Carolina. At some point you opted in, blah, 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 blah. I'm calling to see if you found the business that'll take care of you and your family, or are you still looking and somewhat open-minded? That somewhat open-minded, guys, it makes you real. It makes you sound human and not like a script that you're reading to them. So tone in your voice is important. And you can do that by modulating your tone. Or are you still looking and somewhat open-minded, right? All right. Joe, I can totally understand. Can I share a bit more? Ask permission. If he says, sure, guess what? You just collected another decision. All right. You do the frame firelighter, right? We all understand that. But here's where it gets really cool. The most people skill is the most fun thing ever. And so here's how this works. And here's why it works. This one sentence. Most people, when they hear this, Joe, get excited, a bit curious, and want more information. What did I just do right there? Does anybody know what I just did to the sales filter? What is it? Put it in the text if you know. What is it by saying just what I said there? When they hear this, Joe, get excited and a bit curious and want more information. What did I just do to the sales filter? Anybody? I'll wait for a second. Made it normal to be curious. Okay, yep. Well, here's what else I did. I raised the sales filter. Because if I were to say that to you, Joe, what would you be expecting from me next? You'd be expecting me to pitch you. So I just raised the sales filter a little bit. But what did I just do after that? But honestly, though, not everybody does. I raised it a little bit and I dropped it down to nothing. The subconscious is going, holy crap. He did not pitch me. What is going on here? And then what did I do next? You may know the type. They'd much rather watch rerun reality TV, play games on their phones, or they're simply too skeptical to take 10 minutes to learn about something that might be valuable to them and their family. 3 negatives. Now, you did not pitch. Your subconscious is confused. What is he doing? And now you give 3 negatives. Here's what your subconscious just did. Here's what their subconscious just did to them. You're not any of those 3 people. Take the information. You're not any of those negatives. You need to take the information. Guys, that's brilliant. I hope you get it. Joe, all I do is connect with open-minded people like yourself to see if traveling for less, creating a passive income by sharing this travel program with others resonates with them. Does this resonate with you, Joe? And then here's an interesting thing. May I get some more information about this to you? May I? I just did it again, didn't I? They had to answer me. By the time you get through this entire process, guess what? You've collected 5, 6, maybe 7 decisions. And at any point in this conversation with your prospect, they can back out and there's no hurt, there's no loss, there's no weirdness because you're giving them the way out. You're giving them a way out. Right? So he gives you a positive response. All right. You think you're in, you think they're in the car, they're not. And again, this doctor thing has absolutely nothing to do with in-cruises. It has nothing to do with your business. It has everything to do with relating to your prospect and getting connected with them at a level that they can relate to you. Everybody can relate to a 2:00 appointment and a no doctor at 3:15. And if you laugh about it and then you tie it back into the fact that you hate that so much, you hate that as much as you hate skipping or missing out on an appointment, and then tie it back into bringing them back in. You just took them from outside the car, you put them in the driver's seat or the passenger seat, and you drove them to the appointment that you scheduled with them. Are you getting this, guys? Does this make sense? Does anybody have any thoughts, any additions? Anybody wants to say anything? Guys, this stuff is brilliantly simple to do. It's brilliantly simple not to do. Yeah, just have to practice in front of the mirror. Well, Bianca, let me give you another thought on that too. All right, and I'll give it to all of you guys. So Mark J taught me one more thing. I thought this was brilliant. He said, you'll only get better by doing this. Abel, you nailed it, brother. So here's the thing. He said there's 2 types of people in this world, 2 types of people doing this. The first person says, hey, Troy, if I do this, what will happen? If I do this script, what will they say here? What if they say this? The other person says, I did this script, and this is what happened. Hey, Troy, or hey, Upline, can you give me some insight on how I might be able to do this better? Or, wow, this really worked. Or, I'll never do that again, right? You can practice in the mirror, absolutely. But you have to take action. It's called guts. Go use the skills. Guts. Go use the skills. Okay? Oh, guys, I wish I had done 12 more slides because I just dig this stuff. I hope you guys are getting it. I hope you guys like this. And thanks for being here today. Download it if you want it. And again, it's selfserveleads.net. I'm going to tell you what happened. Let me tell you this too. So I made those calls. I went to Kauai, and it's so funny because I got there, and out of 25 of us there, I thought everybody would have had the numbers because I would have thought that Mark would have had that conversation with just about everybody, and I was one of 2 that had actually done the work out of the 20. 2 out of 20. And where's the option to download? Ted, it's in the bottom right-hand side here, right there. And so 2 people had actually done the work. But I want you to understand, think about those numbers, guys. 3,000 calls, but I only talked to 300. But I booked 263 appointments. And I used that doctor thing on every one of them. And I ended up doing about 70% of those appointments. Your booked meetings was at 10%, so that's about consistent. Yeah, exactly. The numbers don't lie. If you do the work, the numbers don't lie at all. When you're making phone calls, you're gonna catch about 2 to 3 out of 20. That's it. And I will say this about selfserveleads.net. It's designed. I would say that if you can find a quality list for people that have opted in for a home-based business, 1 cent leads are very inexpensive, and it allows you to do the work. I will say that out of all of that work for 4 months, I sponsored, I ended up with 4 recruits, of which, and I was doing this on Shaper as well. And Joe is the only one that's left in my business. But in the meantime, I want to tell you what happened. And this is just a quick tip on the law of attraction, guys. One of my downline, who was also kind of working with me on this, some of you guys may know a gentleman from the past. His name is Bobby Ramito. He said, Troy, are you going to keep doing these 1 cent leads? And I said, well, Bobby, why would I stop? I mean, I've only sponsored 3 or 4 at this point in time, but I've added 55 people to my team in the last 4 months. What happened there? I said, you better believe I'm going to keep doing the work, because by doing the work, it's manifesting in a different area. That's called the law of attraction. And it works 100% of the time, both to the positive and to the negative. All right, guys, any other thoughts? Thank you so much for letting me have this opportunity, Abel. I appreciate it. And thank you guys for being here. And come back next Tuesday. Let's do it again. Abel will be back next week, knocking it out of the park, of course. And we'll talk to you soon. Peace, guys.